Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, it seems like the British government is, or the military at least, is really determined to fight Russia in this proxy war where they can punch but they can't be punched back. Very weasel-like method, but it works so far. And I will change my how should I put it, my semantics or focus from just being on the Americans' war in Ukraine as also being the British war in Ukraine. So I will call the Anglo-American war against Russia on the territory of Ukraine. I will switch that from the Americans fighting the Russians in Ukraine. I will use Americans and the British army or the British interest fighting the Russians. When former Prime Minister Boris Johnson was still in charge over there, or at least he was the person that we thought is in charge, Great Britain really supported Ukraine almost as much, if not more, than supported Ukraine more than the Americans. And now it seems like the Brits, setting aside the claims, Russia's claims that they were the ones responsible of blowing up the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. By the way, have you gotten any news about that lately? I guess if the Russian were responsible, we would have known already a month ago. But because probably this Swedes and Danish investigations and German investigations found the wrong perpetrator, zip it, lock it, don't say anything. I don't think that they need more than, I think we're almost a month and a half since they were blown up, and they couldn't figure out who the hell blew two pipes in the middle of the ocean. Like it's so much, it's so much evidence to dig. Really? Okay. So we have this article that really is concerning to the Russians and I think to the British population as well, because I don't know how long the Russians will put up with this kind of weasel-like attacks, and maybe they will just directly, wage, I don't know, a global destruction war. Because it should be irritating if you get pinched by someone but you can't pinch back, and you know that you can smack and smash that person who pinches you. It's like, I don't know, you would have Lithuania pinching you, but you can't blow it up. So this is kind of like with Great Britain. They can create a kind of problems in Ukraine for you, but you can't create anything to them. So that's kind of like a weasel move. Well, do something about it if you can, Russia. If not, just take it. So this article comes from Sputnik. It's from today, November 9th, 2022. And this is the title. UK will soon provide Ukraine with about 1,000 additional surface-to-air missiles, London says. So with about 1,000 additional surface-to-air missiles. Okay. The United Kingdom will shortly provide Ukraine with some 1,000 additional surface-to-air missiles, the UK Ministry of Defense said on Wednesday. Good for you, I guess. And I'm quoting, the Defense Secretary Ben Wallace has announced that the UK will shortly complete the delivery of approximately 1,000 additional surface-to-air missiles to the armed forces of Ukraine. This comes in response to Ukrainian requests for more air defense capabilities, and the missiles will play a vital role in the provision of air defense for Ukraine and the protection of its critical infrastructure, which is being continuously targeted by Russia, the ministry said on the website. Now, those surface-to-air missiles are only defensive missiles? Yeah, okay. Sure. The ministry added that the missiles, and I'm quoting, can be used in conjunction with existing armed forces of Ukraine's capabilities. I don't know what that means. Adding that the equipment for a delivery will include the missiles and launchers capable of destroying air targets such as drones and cruise missiles. That's it. Just defensive weapons. Yeah, okay, I believe that. Zero. French Defense Minister Sébastien Lecornu said on Wednesday that Paris will supply Ukraine with 6 more Caesar howitzers in the coming weeks. Well, you should change that name from Caesars into Moses, I guess. Or Samson or something. And I'm quoting, "We will deliver this in the coming weeks. So far, we have provided other types of artillery systems of the previous generation, TRF-1 howitzers," Lecornu said in an interview with French broadcaster LCI. The French are way behind the Brits and the Americans with providing weapons, but they're there, you know. They don't want to be really pointed like, oh, you don't help us, well, you owe us. Oh, okay, never again. No, never forget. Earlier in the month, French media reported that Paris was planning to send 20 Bastion armored carriers to Ukraine and up to 12 Caesar howitzers that had been originally produced in Denmark. France has already given Ukraine 18 Caesar howitzers. See, they're out there with everybody else, seems like. Now you can compare them. Ukrainian energy, military and communications infrastructure have been targeted by the Russian armed forces since October 10 in retaliation for the terrorist attack on the Crimean Bridge, which Moscow says was carried out by the Ukrainian special forces. Volodymyr Zelensky said on November 1st that about 40% of Ukraine's energy infrastructure was damaged, causing massive power outages. Well, that's bad. How about those 1,000 additional surface-to-air missiles? How about that? What are you doing about those things? Well, there will be a supply with that. It seems like the Russians are incapable of blowing up the supply lines. If you remember at the beginning, when the Western countries, the supporters, the sponsors, said, well, we're going to send this, we're going to send that, we're going to send this, we're going to send that, all right, coming from Poland. And Russia said, it's okay, we're going to hit them when they enter the territory of from the Poland into Ukraine, we're just going to blow them over there. Well, I think they did this for about 2 or 3 weeks at the most. I didn't hear anything about anything like that occurring lately. Or not lately, actually for a few months, 6 months already. I haven't heard the Russians, hitting over across the Ukraine and blowing up these supply lines. I don't think that's because they don't want. I think it's because they can't. They can't. So, well, armed Ukrainians, and I just made a video with some news about some mercenaries fighting, more mercenaries, according to the Russians, fighting on the Ukrainian side in Zaporozhye. So pretty soon there's not going to be Ukrainians fighting for Ukraine. It's going to be this kind of shady forces fighting for Ukraine, because probably they were already blown up. And I'm assuming this is what the Russians will continue to do. But according to the Ukrainians, the Russians hit either non-targets or civilian targets. Never, almost never military targets. Well, I don't believe that either, but they can say whatever they want, right? Because it's war. In war, disinformation is a weapon, so they all use it. So, good job. I'm glad that they still have ammunition and surface-to-air, missiles coming from Great Britain, and that would be it. I keep you posted when they send more. You make sure over there you build them, okay? And use your taxes. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.